going to dive into a brief tutorial of the Common Application. The Common Application is an online platform where you can literally apply to over 700 colleges and universities on one website. I encourage students to create a list of colleges that they're interested in applying to, go directly to those colleges' website, admissions page, and see some more information. And if they're a Common App school, then go ahead and dive in and create your account. So let's get started. If you haven't created an account, you can just choose Login, choose that you're a student, and click Create an Account. After creating an account, please be sure to create a document or put on a note in your phone your username and your passwords. It's incredibly helpful as you will have multiple websites to keep track of, including College Board, financial aid, and your online applications. So let's go ahead and dive in. Here's what the application looks like. You have some tabs on the top. The Common App tab, this is kind of the body of your application. And within this, you have things like your demographics, your educational background, your SAT, ACT scores, subject tests, the Common App main essay, your activities, and a new section which we'll talk about in a minute. So this, whatever you put in here, will go to each individual college in addition to your college-specific questions. So just do know that. So when you go ahead and fill this out, it's going to ask you things like your personal name. Make sure that you're being careful and you're putting in the correct address and you're just really double checking everything so everything matches up and it's easy. In the family section, it'll ask you about your parents or your guardians, if you have any siblings. And the Common Application, as you start to go through, it'll pop up more things. So I caution you, just take some time to read through each section because it can get a little bit tricky if you hustle through it. Under education, you can put your current or most recent high school, and it'll ask you questions like when did you enter and will you graduate from this school. It'll ask you your counselor's information. And then if you either attended another high school or maybe a summer school at a different high school, you can add that information here. And if you took any community college classes or college courses and the dates that you attended. This section grades kind of your graduating class and does your school rank or not and what scale is your school on. You can usually find this information in your high school profile or ask your counselor for some assistance if you're having trouble finding that. You'll go ahead and input your senior year courses. You may not have your grades yet, but it's important to let colleges know the course load that you are planning to take senior year. If it's an AP course or an honors, make sure that you type in the exact title of the course. It can be really helpful if you have a copy of your transcript in front of you. I also tell my students to download a copy of our high school guide. Our Norman guide has a course list and description, so it's easy and you're not missing anything. Your senior year schedule is a good way to show that you're maintaining a challenging and rigorous course load, or that you're continuing to pursue your academic courses throughout your senior year. The honors section, this isn't your honors or AP classes, but these are any awards or achievements that are academic. So for example, you can list up to 5. I did the California Scholarship Federation. Please be sure not to just put an acronym. Don't ever assume that a college admission officer understands automatically what CSF means because they may be a college out of state and they don't know what that means. So make sure that you spell it out. You can choose the grade levels and then the level of recognition, and you can complete the rest of that section. In testing, you can put the tests that you have taken and the future test dates. Please keep in mind that it gives you an option for the SAT, how many you wish to report. The new SAT after March 2016 is probably the ones that you guys have taken, but just make sure that you've chosen the correct SAT date because the scores and how you report them are different than they were prior to March of 2016. You're able to also put the number of future tests that you're going to take in case you still have testing to do. I recommend log into your College Board account or your ACT account, print a copy of your scores, have them next to you. Otherwise, you remember you can always go back in and update this. The activities section, so this is your extracurricular, anything from clubs to sports to family commitments that are a committed responsibility that you have outside of the classroom. You have up to 10 available to list, so choose wisely and use the space. So don't just put, just your position and that's it. Describe your impact or your role within that activity, if you received any accomplishments, and how many grade levels that you participated. Average out your hours and weeks that you have spent per year, and go ahead and complete that section. The Common App has an essay, and you can choose between topics, and it's a 650 word limit essay. So go ahead, I recommend students take a look at the essay prompts and brainstorm and use your resources at your school. Choose the essay, which one you're going to take. Set some time aside to brainstorm and start writing. Write on a Google Doc or a separate document before you add that final essay into your college application. The courses and grades section are new. Essentially, this is a self-reporting section where you are able to input your courses and the grades that you earned. Not every college will require this section, so it's really important that you take a look and follow the instructions. If you have schools that don't require or use this section, you may not have to fill this out, and there's a tutorial video to check out. To add a college, you click on the College Search tab, and we add a college. You can search it here, and you check the box and add it to your application. On your My Colleges tab, these are your individual applications. So in addition to your basic information, you have your specific application to that university. When you click on the university's name on the right-hand side, you have a ton of important information that I highly recommend that you take the time to read. There's a new section that also has scholarships or just extra deadline information. There may be a priority scholarship deadline or something that you can apply to, like an honors college. Make sure that you take the time to read through this. It gives you the dates and deadlines because remember, even though this is one application site, each college has different questions and a different deadline. They may not all have early decision or early action, so pay very close attention to this page. It tells you which recommendations are required, any additional information, and any additional essays that are also required specifically for this university. When you click on the Questions tab, this is where you'll indicate either campuses or majors, which admissions plan that you're interested in and in applying to, housing, just different things like that. Again, it varies on the university. Something else that's new with Common App is they have integrated Google Drive, so wherever you see this little image, you're able to sync your Google Drive and automatically send your essays over into this box. Again, I encourage my students to type either on a Word document or a Google Drive save often if it's a Word document, so that when you're ready with your essay, you copy and paste it into the box, and you're all set and good to go there. On the Recommenders and FERPA tab, they have something called your FERPA. This is your Federal Educational Rights Privacy Act. Essentially, it is your right, you have the right to your educational records. So if you release this authorization, it allows your recommenders and your school to send letters of recommendation and things like transcripts on your behalf. So if you feel comfortable, go ahead and release that authorization, and that will allow recommenders to submit documents to the university. You can invite and manage your recommenders here. Another new feature, they have an advisor section. So this isn't someone who will write you a recommendation, but this is someone maybe like a private college counselor or a mentor or someone just helping you with your college apps. If you invite this person, it helps them to see what sections you've completed and dates and deadlines just to help you stay on track. You can invite your counselor or your teacher here. I highly recommend that you are aware of your school's policy on how to request counselor and teacher recommendations. Some schools use Naviance and eDocs, and that's a whole different process. At Beverly Hills High School, we invite counselors and teachers directly through the Common Application, and there is a deadline for when you should request them. So if you're applying early at all, you need to request your letters of recommendation by October 1st. And if you're applying regular, you need to request by November 1st, no later than those dates. Always ask your teacher in person first and your counselor in person first, and fill out anything that's needed. For example, we have a brag sheet that we have students fill out. It's a survey in Naviance that helps your counselor just put more context to your letter of recommendation and keep track of that. That's your recommendation tab. Once you start inviting, you're able to add them easily to additional applications. You have your dashboard. Your dashboard is kind of an overview, so as you add more applications here, it'll show deadlines, if there's different writing requirements, and it's kind of a general overview. But again, the tabs that I find really helpful are if you click on the university's name itself and kind of read through the right-hand page. There's a help section if you need it. Again, use your support system, use your counselor at your school, your college counselor, use a trusted mentor or a teacher. And also, don't be afraid to contact the college directly and ask questions. If you have a question about a major or a deadline, ask them. They're not scary, they're very nice and happy to talk with students. And yeah, so utilize your resources. So that's just a quick snapshot of the Common Application. And if you have any questions, head to your school counselor and ask away.